2 decades have passed, but watching Jaylen Brown carry Boston right now sends a chill down your spine. The resemblance to Kobe Bryant is hauntingly uncanny. Just as Kobe dragged the Lakers through the depths of hell in 2006, Brown is channeling that exact same ruthlessness to keep Boston's heart beating now that Jayson Tatum has fallen. No longer playing second fiddle, Brown has been forced to transform into a monster against the entire NBA world, a pure survival instinct straight out of the Mamba playbook. This haunting similarity isn't just about the box score, it's in the steely gaze of a man carrying an empire on his shoulders. Are we witnessing the desperate last stand of a lonely star, or is this the trial by fire that forges a new legend from the ashes? The solitude of Atlas. In professional sports, there exists a very specific, cruel definition of loneliness. It isn't the feeling of being unloved. It is the chilling realization as you stand at center court, look around, and understand that there is no one left with the strength to hold up the sky with you. If you stop shooting, the empire collapses. Kobe Bryant lived in that exact hell during the 2005-06 season. With Shaq gone and Phil Jackson returned, the Los Angeles Lakers existed on life support, sustained only by what the press at the time called one man against the league. Ending that season 45-37, taking a 3-1 lead over the Phoenix Suns only to lose in 7, the journey was a magnificent tragedy. We often canonize Kobe for the 81-point game or the 62 points against Dallas, viewing them as wonders of the world, but few recognize the painful inevitability behind them. He didn't score to create highlights. He scored because it was the only path for the team to survive. 20 years later, in the 2025-26 season, Jaylen Brown is walking that same solitary road. The context may differ. The Boston Celtics are the 2024 champions, but the cold reality of finance has snapped their spine. The modern NBA's salary cap aprons and tax penalties forced Brad Stevens into excising vital organs from the roster. Drew Holiday was flipped for Anthony Simons. Kristaps Porzingis was shipped to the Atlanta Hawks in a 3-team deal, and Al Horford, the adult in the room, departed to finish his career with the Golden State Warriors. They didn't even have the cap space to retain Luke Cornett, who had been excellent in the playoffs. But the fatal blow was dealt by fate: Jayson Tatum's torn Achilles. That injury, suffered in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Knicks, still casts a long shadow over this season, with recent reports all but confirming Tatum will sit out the entirety of 2026. History doesn't repeat, but it is certainly rhyming in a way that feels ominous. When a team loses the structure of a 1A, 1B superstar duo, the remaining star is forced to become Atlas. Kobe once carried Smush Parker and Kwame Brown, players sports writers politely described as depth, though we all knew they were closer to an abyss. Now, look at Jaylen Brown. Through the end of January 2026, he is carrying Boston with 29.4 points per game, grinding out 34.4 minutes, launching 22.4 shots, and acting as the primary creator with 4.9 assists, all while accepting the cost of 3.6 turnovers due to sheer exhaustion. Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Neemias Queta, and the newcomer Simons are decent players, but they were not engineered to share the gravity of a superstar. They are capable satellites, but without Tatum, Brown has been forced to become the entire solar system. This drastic shift in role leads to an explosion in usage rate, something the casual public often dismisses as hero ball. But if you have been around the NBA long enough, you learn a naked truth. Hero ball is rarely an aesthetic choice of ego. It is a reflex of survival. Brown is facing the exact question that dogged Kobe years ago. Is this selfishness, or is it the only way out? From my perspective, we cannot judge a player as selfish when the system around him is shattered. Kobe in 2006 wrote the script for every possession because he understood how brutally a wayward pass would punish the Lakers. Brown in 2026 is doing the same. Without a reliable second option, he has begun playing with the instincts of a man refusing to drown. The solitude of Atlas isn't found in the stat sheet. It is found in the look in a player's eyes as he runs back on defense after a missed shot, not blaming his teammates, but quietly asking himself how much longer he can hold the weight of the world. The renaissance of the mid-range art. If the modern NBA is a futuristic metropolis, we are living in the age of the three-point skyscraper. Every schematic is optimized for spacing, corner threes, and layups. In this landscape, the mid-range game is treated like a condemned neighborhood, inefficient, outdated, and slated for demolition. Yet there is a paradox I have always subscribed to. When the playoffs arrive and the game turns into a fight for survival, the mid-range suddenly re-emerges as a master key. Why? Because the mid-range is where basketball returns to the individual, the footwork, the hesitation, and the cold-blooded ability to operate in a phone booth. Kobe Bryant was the undisputed monarch of that territory. What made Kobe unguardable wasn't just the impossible shot making, it was a perfect system of fundamentals, the jab step, the pivot, and that trademark turnaround fadeaway. It was the art of manufacturing 5 feet of space when every door to the rim had been bolted shut. Jaylen Brown, cornered by circumstance this season, is channeling that ghost more powerfully than ever. The numbers don't lie. Brown hasn't morphed into a high-volume three-point machine. He is taking about 6 threes per game, a modest figure for a modern superstar. Instead, he has shifted the bulk of his offensive volume inside the arc, where the mid-range pull-up has become his lifeline. Brown's efficiency in the mid-range this season is hovering at levels that are frankly disturbing to the rest of the league. While I don't obsess over every spreadsheet, the eye test screams the truth. Watch the Celtics right now, and you see Brown punishing defenders with abrupt stops at the elbow and spin moves in the low post whenever he sniffs a mismatch. His footwork is telling a different story than it used to. He is no longer just using his strength to bulldoze through walls. He is using strength as bait. He uses his shoulder to force a defender back, then employs a hesitation, the pause that young players often fear will slow them down, to freeze his man before rising up. This is where history rhymes with Kobe's philosophy. If your teammates cannot create space for you, you use technique to carve it out yourself. In an era where every analytics department screams, "shoot the three," Brown has chosen the thornier path, demanding the ball, facing heavy help defense, absorbing contact, and accepting that every point is a street fight. Brown's mid-range game isn't just a skill, it is a tactical pressure release valve for a Boston team whose spacing is no longer a luxury. When opponents are willing to double team and dare the supporting cast to beat them, that pull-up jumper in the early shot clock is the only way to vent the pressure. Kobe lived on that valve in 2006. Brown is breathing through it in 2026. But skill is only the surface. What made Kobe the Black Mamba was psychological warfare, and Brown is using the anger of his circumstances to fuel that fire. The warfare of Mamba Mentality. Kobe Bryant in 2006 wasn't just scoring points, he was waging war against the world. That season was built on a foundation of pure, unadulterated rage. Anger over Shaq's departure, anger at the headlines painting him as a selfish villain, and a burning desire to prove he could scorch the earth alone. The stats were surreal. 62 points against Dallas while sitting out the fourth quarter, the legendary 81 points against Toronto, and a season average of 35.4 points per game. But 81 points wasn't just math, it was an existential statement. Kobe played as if he wanted to prove he didn't need a single soul to be great. Jaylen Brown in the 2025-26 season doesn't have an 81-point game, and frankly, I don't think he needs one to replicate that spirit. The parallel here isn't about cosplay, it is the resonance of a specific frequency of dark energy, quiet but devastating. Brown entered this season with unhealed psychological scars, the Robin label to Jayson Tatum's Batman that clings to him despite his accolades. Even his extension, $304 million, was treated by social media not as a coronation, but as meme fodder. For a superstar, that isn't a harmless joke. It is pressure to be flawless every night. Perhaps most painful was the 2024 Team USA snub. When the roster was adjusted, Brown was coldly overlooked, but his reaction wasn't submission. For competitors with that specific genetic makeup, like Kobe, like Brown, disrespect is the highest octane fuel. The connection to the Mamba mentality doesn't come from Brown reciting quotes to the press. It comes from his grit on the hardwood. He initiates contact rather than avoiding it. He defends as if he is personally insulted every time his matchup scores. In clutch moments, we are seeing flashes of Kobe. The dribble slows down, the eyes go dead, and he rises for a pull-up in a spot that modern analytics hates, but basketball history respects. Strip away the mythology, and Mamba mentality is ruthless pragmatism. When reality turns against you, you don't negotiate, you choke it out. Kobe did it with sheer volume. Brown is doing it by forcing himself to be two things at once, the primary scorer and the defensive tone setter. The strongest rhyme between these two eras is that neither Kobe in 2006 nor Brown in 2026 is playing to be loved. They are playing to demand respect. Kobe dragged a ragged roster to a shocking 3-1 lead over Phoenix. Now Brown is dragging a wounded Boston team, missing Tatum, restructuring its cap, fighting through a transition year, and keeping them in the hunt. He is maintaining an average of nearly 30 points per game as a silent warning. Do not bury me while I am still breathing. If you want to understand Brown this season, don't look at him as Tatum's stand-in. Look at him as a man stripped of his shelter for the first time, standing naked in the storm, and responding with the most ruthless basketball he can muster. That is the true face of the Mamba spirit. I believe Jaylen Brown will likely never touch the absolute greatness of Kobe Bryant. That is not an insult, but an acknowledgement of the singularity of historical icons. However, this 2026 campaign stands as the most heroic tribute to the Mamba legacy we have seen. A star pushed into extreme isolation, responding with vintage mid-range craft and using anger as discipline. And so, the haunting question isn't, is Brown like Kobe? The question worth asking is, can one swallow named Jaylen Brown make a summer for the Celtics? Or will this remain a modern retelling of 2006, glorious, blindingly bright, but ending in solitary incompletion? If you want to keep exploring these NBA stories told through the lens of history, culture, and the power dynamics behind the scenes, subscribe to the Hoops Ledger, where I, Cole Sterling, continue to dig into the strange rhymes of modern basketball.